Hello and welcome to episode 9 of These Notes Are to Be Believed of Randomer Nintendo. I am today's host, Angel. I'm not sure where everyone's sitting right now. I guess in their closet we have Jason.
I mean, in the literal sense, yes, I am currently sitting in the closet. This is true. Yes. Hello.
Oh, I forgot that was a thing.
Yeah, I just need to make sure that it's clear we're
Nothing
talking
wrong
about
with
the
that,
literal tiny closet I'm sitting in. Nothing wrong with the figurative closet, just not me. I'm just in a literal closet.
Wow, way to start the show. But yeah.
Way to start the show. Oof.
Yeah, and at their desk, presumably, Kevin?
Did you say? Oh, I thought you said after death. I was like, wait,
Is that how you're feeling today, Kevin?
I feel like death. I'm very sick. So, if I sound more congested than usual, it's because I think I came down with the flu. So,
Did you
You
go
actually
outside
don't
with a
sound
sweater?
that bad.
I'm wearing a sweater right now. Well, I'm wearing a cardigan.
Oh no, I meant like when, you went out last night without a jacket or something. Yeah,
Oh,
that'll
no.
be fine.
I don't know. I don't know what caused me to get this sick. Honestly,
Well, it is. The flu season's worse this year than it's been the last couple of years because everyone's immune systems kind of got knocked down a peg by not doing anything for the last few years. So supposedly this is the worst flu season. There may be a rebound of COVID. There's something called RSV, some respiratory thing. Like there's like a triple. The health officials are calling it a triple-demic. And I'm saying like, why you're missing out on tridemic? But sure. But yeah, no, I think a lot of people are gonna be sick in the next few months. Yeah, years ahead of the curve. You're a trendsetter, Kevin.
that sucks.
Yeah.
That's one of the last things that I'd want to be setting a trend on.
Yeah, right.
Man.
Is what it is.
Well, I mean, I guess how have you two been these past few weeks? I mean, since we last recorded, I've just been moving stuff, so there hasn't really been much on my end. Just whenever I do get any semblance of free time, I'll be playing some Marble Snap. I think I don't even know how much time I've sunk into this game already, but I guess for point of reference for whatever it means to anyone, I think my collection level is at over 1,000 already.
Jesus Christ!
And
How?
I'm gonna assume that's a lot based on Kevin's reaction.
I'm barely at 390, dog. Like,
my ranking, I think it's at 56 or something like that. But yeah, it's been fun. Been really enjoying this Patriot deck. It was kind of annoying to play against when I first saw it, but eventually started running my own, and I guess I realized Patriot deck means nothing to Jason. But
Correct.
there are cards. I don't know if you even downloaded the game since we last.
I
talked about
have it
when you said you
downloaded,
would.
and then I went to New York,
Wow.
and then I didn't play it. But I have it downloaded. I wanted to play it, but things got busy going to New York, and then my trip to New York was busy, and then catching up from New York was busy. But I have it. It's sitting on my phone. Every time I go in my games, it's like the first one there, so it reminds me I need to start.
I remember asking your brother Angel if he was ever going to play it, and he said no, absolutely not, because he knows that he'll just get addicted to it.
He probably. He probably would.
Yeah,
I mean,
so
I
that's
was
pretty
showing
funny.
him some stuff about the game yesterday, and he was like, "Oh, damn, that does look cool." But I guess essentially the deck that I'm using uses cards that don't have effects, and then I just buff those cards, and I just swarm the field with a bunch of little wiki minions. So half the time I'm winning with a 10 power squirrel or 11 power squirrel, or in one of the cases from one of the games last week, one of my locations was at over 4,000, just because the location was double the effects of all ongoing effects, and then I had a card that doubled the effects on there that doubled ongoing effects.
Oh, so the onslaught combo.
Yeah, and then I used my Mystique to copy the onslaught, so then I was doubling the doubling of the doubling, and then I just had one Patriot there, and the minions literally it broke the numbers on them. They were weird blurry number, and then you see a 25 and then more blurry number after that, but somehow that equated to over 4,000 in multiple locations.
Yeah,
and I think they patched that after.
Yeah,
they patched
Onslaught.
Yeah, so it'll still do a ton of, still give a nice big buff, but won't be that crazy anymore.
Have you bought any variant cards?
Have I bought any variant cards?
Yeah.
I bought one for Swarm because the T-Rex made out of bugs look really cool.
Gotcha.
Otherwise, not really. I've just been kind of waiting for the right one. I honestly don't really like any of the pixelized ones. I got one of them.
Oh, yeah, the pixel variants aren't that great.
Yeah, it doesn't feel like if they were gonna do pixelated, they should have gone more with a a Marvel vs. Capcom art style. It's like they picked something between Super Nintendo and NES, and it just feels. I don't know. It feels like
they did that weird 16-bit instead of 8 or 32.
Yeah, like they look like not officially licensed art. If that makes any sense, it looks more like a Magneto you would see in a fan-made pixelated Flash game,
like on DeviantArt 10 years ago, sort of thing.
Yeah, so I mean, it's still like it's clearly Magneto. There's nothing necessarily wrong with it. It's just it's missing something. Like when you see really good pixel art, you really know, you can tell something about this is just not quite like to the pro tier I would expect, I guess, from Marvel. Considering some of the other art is like amazing, but
I will say, up until you started talking about pixel art, I understood the words you were saying. Like, I knew the definition of every word you said, but when they were put together and the way you guys were putting them together, I had it was like a foreign language. I had no idea what you were talking about. It was a very weird experience because I knew every word, but I didn't know what they meant once they were strung together.
About pixel art?
No, before that, when you guys talked about all the Marvel stuff.
Oh, I see.
Like the snap, like this deck and this move and this minion. I'm like, I understand these words. Like, if you give me each word, I can tell you what it means, but I don't know what that means together.
You will know.
Mm-hmm.
But
I know it's on me.
Oh, what's up, Kevin?
Do you snap like as soon as you start a game?
No. I kind of wait till like the second to last turn on average, and I definitely retreat a lot. Just to like as soon as like they snap and I'm not feeling like even remotely confident, I'll just like leave. It's like, why risk it? But
yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, for the most part, I'll snap on the last turn. Most of the time, I end up getting my 8, but there's been a few times where I'll have, I guess, more nonsense for Jason. I'll have like my Mystique and Patriot, and I'll slot all on one space, and I'm like, oh, like I'm good, I'll be fine. And then they'll play an Enchantress there, and then I lose all.
Not an Enchantress.
Yeah, and then I lose all the buffs and all the doubling. So then I just started playing a lot of Cosmo, and now it's the joke's on them. But
Cosmo's in the dog?
Yeah, the dog. Yeah, he negates
I will say,
my counter.
Strangest curveball in the Guardians of the Galaxy Holiday Special, which I was watching last night. Cosmo's there. No explanation. Just there.
You know, it's funny.
Just one of the Guardians now, I guess.
Did you know that technically you guys are officially part of the MCU?
Us?
I think Jason might know where I'm going with this.
Us? Like,
if either of you saw the Holiday Special.
I mean, I did see the Holiday Special. Yeah, where are you going with this? Maybe I'm not picking up what you're putting down.
Have you seen it, Kevin, or do you care to see it? I have not seen it.
I have not seen it.
Oh, okay. Do you care if I spoil the joke?
Not really.
Okay. Well, yeah, I saw this article because it was tweeted by someone that I knew. And then, essentially, I guess they go to Hollywood or something, and someone takes a picture with Drax, and then they say, like, I took a picture with the God of War, thinking he was the God of War and not Drax.
Yeah, they have a Kratos
which
reference.
Means Santa Monica Studios exists in that universe, which means as someone that worked there, I exist in that universe, and if I exist there, that means my friends also exist in that universe. Whether you guys were people that were snapped at some point, who knows? But I guess Kevin and Jason are technically canon.
That's crazy. I didn't think of it that way, but yeah, that makes sense. That was actually one of the funniest lines in the whole special. Because it was the kids take a picture with Drax, and then their mom is like, "Did you see that? You got a picture with the God of War," or something like that. So it's like the clueless mom who's mixing up her people. Like it's actually pretty funny.
Oh, okay, that makes more sense.
Yeah,
I haven't seen the context of it. I just know it happens.
Yeah, it's the specials. Like it's entertaining enough. I kind of like it feels a little low budget. And it definitely feels like the thing they just did on the side while making Guardians 3, which the trailer looks amazing for. But it definitely is capturing kind of the old school vibe of like a Christmas special, like kind of the campiness, a little of the cheesiness, some of the heartwarmingness. And there's actually weirdly, without saying anything, there is a ramification or two for Guardians 3 that comes out of this. Like actual serious plot things. They will probably repeat the revelation in Guardians 3, so it's fine, but like they actually put something in here. I'm like, wow, that actually, like, besides Cosmo randomly being there, that actually has some. There's actually a few of those now that I think about it. Like even where they're sort of set up.
Appeared before in the MCU?
He was in the collector's collection in Guardians 1. And that's it. And now suddenly I think it's a she. I think they switched the gender. But anyway, now Cosmo is just part of the team, just like there. At their little base at nowhere or whatever. So it's I mean, obviously there's a huge time jump because Guardians 2 was in like 2014. Then, Infinity War happened and Endgame happened and stuff happened and they went with Thor and then they left Thor. So there is a time jump that they're kind of like catching up with. So some of that's maybe explained. But yeah, it was just like Cosmo's there. I'm like, oh, sure, okay. And they never really explained why Cosmo's there. It's just Cosmo's there. So.
Damn, only because we're still at Marvel. I'm just gonna like bring back Snap really quick, just because like this mechanic was really cool. I've been using a deck lately that plays itself because of this one card called Agatha.
Oh, Agatha Harkness.
Who's getting a spinoff next year on Disney Plus? Anyway,
what the heck? Huh?
Yep. Well, she was the main villain of WandaVision. Spoilers. I guess.
She's WandaVision.
I remember her getting
Catherine Hahn
Psybeam because of the last episode.
Spoiler.
Oh man. Yeah, my bad. But point is, I just like that because it's a digital card game, they could do stuff like this, and they're taking advantage. Obviously, that her gimmick is that she starts in your first hand. Like she starts in your hand no matter what, and as long as she's in your hand, she will play cards for you during your turn, and you can't do anything about it. So ideally, you want to get rid of her as soon as possible, but she is like the highest power you can get as far as cost, so you can't even play her until the last turn. So ideally, you would want to play a card that randomly discards cards from your hand, or just discards cards from your hand. Just so you get rid of her. And then I saw that one of the locations one time was Ego. I guess it's a Star-Lord's dad. You know that one planet?
He's in the second Guardians. He's Kurt Russell for the movie side of things. Yeah.
So one of the locations ends up being Ego, and then it starts talking, and then he actually plays the whole game for both people. And you're just kind of like, do I let this ride and see if the AI will play the game in the right spots, or should I just run away at this point? But I thought it was something interesting to mention, that there is a mechanic for the game to play itself.
I like when games do weird stuff like that. When they're just like, you know what, we're going to do this like oddball thing that just like the game runs itself, or like this random thing happens, or the stuff where it kind of not like breaks the fourth wall, but like does weird things. Like, yes, this is a game,
Exactly. But saw Guardians. You also went to New York.
I did. And did all the New York things, which include going to the Nintendo store, seeing the Thanksgiving parade in person, seeing some Broadway shows, Gang Engaged, the works, the things you do in New York. Yeah, Nintendo. I got you guys some stuff at Nintendo. I like how I just said Gang Engaged. There's just like dead silence to that, but sure. But yeah, no. You guys already knew, so yeah. Yeah, no, it's fine. So I got you guys some stuff at Nintendo New York. I would have gotten the listeners some stuff, but there's a lot of them and I don't know anyone's shirt size. But I got you guys some stuff. It's interesting because now that Nintendo's so outward with their merchandising and they have so many license deals and that sort of thing. Nintendo World, this sounds so privileged almost, but Nintendo World used to be so cool to visit because it felt so exclusive. You go there and there's stuff that's only there, and they still have some only there stuff that says Nintendo New York on it. So that's why I got you guys, and myself. But a lot of the stuff, that's the super cool stuff, they sell at Nintendo.com. They have this awesome orange Metroid hoodie that has, you guys have seen it. It has an 8-bit Samus visor on the front, and that's it, and it's just orange. I got that on their website 2 months ago. So when I went to Nintendo World or the Nintendo store,
that was only 2 months ago.
Maybe 3. It might have been 3.
That was this year.
Yeah, the Metroid hoodie. Yeah, it was end of summer.
The one that we both really wanted, and then you got it, and I just never got around to it.
Yes, that one. That very one. Wow. The one I beat you to. I think that's August or September. But either way, maybe. Actually, you know what? No, I'm wrong. It was going into summer. It was in May. And I realized that because I remember thinking, oh, it's hot now. I'm never going to wear this. But yes, it was this year.
It was still this year, though.
It's still this year. But anyway, so they have that. They have some of the Pikmin merch. They have cool stuff, but it's also readily available elsewhere. So when I went there, it's kind of oh, there's one shelf of cool stuff, and the rest I could just buy anywhere.
Pointless.
Well, not pointless, but I feel this sounds so coming from such a privilege of being able to have gone to Nintendo New York for so many years and having Super Nintendo World opening here in LA soon. But I feel the merch store at Super Nintendo World with all the exclusive stuff that they're only going to sell there is going to be for me what the pilgrimage to Nintendo New York was for so many years. And I haven't been in 8 years, so it's just kind of interesting to see it sort of.
So the novelty of a Nintendo store, you're saying, has just been completely lost on you?
Not completely lost, but definitely it did.
Wow,
it didn't.
I'm actually getting sad being in here.
Okay, I definitely didn't get sad. I was still running around like a kid in a candy store. But it was harder for me to decide what I want to buy because the stuff that was really cool I already could buy through other means, and then the exclusive stuff was just like, all right, it's a shirt that says Nintendo New York, I guess. So, not a knock against the store. It's still really cool to have that all in one place. They still had some really cool displays. They had like a full-size splatter shot from Splatoon 3, which I think was just a Nerf gun they scratched the logo off of, like a Super Soaker. But they still have like a cool display with all the amiibo ever released, including the Japan-only ones. They have like a little mini museum that had even systems like the Player Choice 10 and stuff. So that was all cool to see, but like it didn't have the same oomph because Nintendo's broadened their IP licensing so much since. Mm-hmm. So, but it's still worth going if you've never been. There is still cool stuff. It's just, it's more accessible now, it was like a monkey's paw because I always wanted that stuff to be more accessible because I couldn't always go to New York, but now that it is more accessible, when I go to New York, I'm like, oh, there it is again. Okay. So it's like a weird, but it was a fun trip.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Gonna go again soon? 2 years?
No, probably not. No, it was a tradition because I had family out there. There is no family out there anymore, so probably gonna do other travels elsewhere in the world. It's been so long since we went to New York that it felt right to, go back finally. So, and do the Macy's parade and things like that.
The Jason Goes To series has definitely been quiet for a while.
Has it? I feel like I was in Vegas the month prior, and I was in Seattle 2 months prior.
I was riffing more on the Conan Ghost or the Conan does
like the world travel,
you've definitely been going to
Jason
places.
Without Borders. Yes.
Yeah, because you've been to. You did Africa at some point, then you did Australia. What felt like the year before, the year after. Or
I was doing. It went London. God, I feel like I'm just bragging about trips. It went London 1 year, South Africa the next, Japan the next, Australia the next. Took off 2019, then COVID hit. So. Oh, but then during COVID, like summer 21, I went down to Mexico for the first time. So I guess that kind of counts. It's a drive, not a plane, but it still counts. Yeah. So.
One day we'll take you to like the more Mexico part of Mexico.
Oh yeah, I was like right at the edge. Yeah, I was barely. It was just like a little resort town thing. Yeah. So
and
I'd be down to
the Mexico with the yellow filter on it.
Yes, exactly. Yes, it's very much like Mexico through the lens of 100%.
Yeah, you gotta just like Breaking Bad. It's crazy.
Yep, and every other show, even Cobra Kai did it. I noticed they went down to Mexico and they just yellow filtered the whole thing.
Damn. Yeah, I need to call my cousins and see like, is it really still like that? Like I can't. I don't
Did your guys' perpetual sandstorm end? Is it not yellow anymore? What's going on?
Yeah. What about you, Kevin? We definitely heard a lot from Jason. Seems to have been coming down from a nice little vacation. You had. Yeah, I think you've been playing a lot of Snap as well, but I'm guessing you've been playing something else, watching stuff, chilling.
I've just been playing a lot of Snap for sure. It's probably the game that I played Snap the most. It's probably the game that I played the most since we last had a podcast together.
Damn, Jason, you got a Snap too. I did happen to catch, just because I sometimes lurk in that one chat of yours and my brother's. It's weird because I know I'm in it, but I still feel like really like somewhat detached from it. Like I think I posted maybe once in a while. But
so you're like a moderator for the chat. You don't engage it.
No, not even. I don't know why I was added there. At some point, I was just added there. I think it was just like relevant for something, and then I don't know. I got an official nickname. I won't say what it is because I don't think I can. Oh yeah, no, I think mine is okay. Anyway, I did see like an image that was shared. I guess like you guys had I guess we'll call it a Snap LAN party that just seemed. I thought like, oh man, that's super cool.
We guys
just sitting side by side in one place playing Snap.
Yeah, it's just a screenshot of like everyone's like screen share, and it was just like Snap.
Oh! I think Kevin, you tweeted that too, didn't you?
I tweeted it as well.
Yeah, that looked fun.
Yeah, that was really fun. We were drinking.
My brother
too.
Just sitting there, or he just wasn't part of it at all.
No, he wasn't there. It was just three of us. Basically, what we were doing is we were taking turns playing Snap on PC, and if we won, cool. If we lost, all three of us. If the person who was playing lost, we all three had to take a shot.
Oh damn!
So
any Snap rules?
No Snap rules. Oh, I think it was like if you snap and you lose, you are the only one that's gonna take a shot.
Well, that seems fair.
Yeah.
How
No,
many
but
shots
that
did
was
you end up
that was a lot of fun.
taking?
But what if you snap and they snap and you win? Like, does everyone but you take a shot at that point?
No, we
Like
didn't
the
get
inverse.
to that nitty gritty of it. But what was funny was eventually we just kept winning. So we had a new rule that, like, okay, if we go 2 rounds, which would be like, if we go 6 games without losing, we got to take a shot.
Damn. Oh, that's right.
That way we're not just waiting to lose, essentially.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, that was a lot of fun.
Yeah, that sounds fun. But
Yeah.
Well, let's see what we got on the docket. And
I got one.
they all say Jason on them. But,
Do they? Well, one's a group, but I got one that I don't even know if this one's just me. Kevin, did you end up buying in the end Pokemon Scarlet and Violet? Or Violet? You didn't, did you?
No, not after the disaster that is the performance of that game.
Yeah, so, did you just talk about that? Because I have a lot to say about that. Because I think there's like two. So first of all, like, if we're a podcast that still covers Nintendo, like, this is for sure the big new thing on the Nintendo scene, right? Like, big flagship holiday game. First truly open world Pokemon game. Maybe most importantly, home of a cornucopia of great punny names for new Pokemon. I mean, we know Fido and Smoliv, but there are some hidden gems. I don't know if you guys know, Nintendo kept some secret till after launch. There's a pair of mice named Tandemouse who evolve into a set of 4 mice named Maushold. And, like, if I were to rate a game based on puns, that is a 10 out of 10 game of the year right there. Like, saved you 3 hours and millions of dollars for your award show, Jeff Keighley. Like, that's it. Shut it down, that one. But seriously, I do feel like, yeah, there's a lot going on around Pokemon because of the performance issues and because of the bugginess and all that. I
really quick about Maushold, though.
Yeah.
I do find it. I don't know if they've done it every generation, but for some reason it feels like they've been ramping up their. What if it's a Pokemon,
more of
but
the
it's
same,
just a bunch of the same one, like Phalanx was,
yeah.
I think, the one from the last gen, which was just a bunch of the little Marvin the Martian heads.
Right, and I mean they've done it since Doug Trio.
Oh yeah, I mean that same gen they had Execute.
Yeah. Right.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's
Actually,
just I mean conceptually it feels a little lazy, and in execution they look a little like the singing choir boys from Rhythm Heaven, just with mouse ears. So it's kind of like okay, but the name is so good, so good. But yeah, I did
get all the Pokemon designs, so pretty happy with them. I like the final evolution of Quaxley. He reminds me of like Big Bird's exotic cousin.
Yeah, that's actually a good way to put it. There was a bug I saw. I don't remember if it was a final evolution or a second form, but there was a bug I saw where basically Quaxley's evolution was doing like this weird 2-step thing, kind of like shaking its hips, and it was glitching out to just do that, and it did have the exotic Big Bird cousin vibe, that's for sure. But yeah, I still did buy Violet on day one, and I am relatively early in the game. I think the fact that I was in New York for that week doing touristy things, and then I came back and needed to catch up with everything. Like, obviously, not only did I not play Snap, but it's not the most conducive for pouring dozens of hours into Pokemon Violet either. But I do absolutely have some early thoughts of what I have played, and I think the thing about Violet and Scarlet is it's really kind of a conversation about two different, almost competing aspects of the release. Because on the one side, you've got like the game, like conceptually what they're setting out to do, how well the gameplay systems work, what the whole open world thing feels like. But then on the other side, you've got this discourse and reality around it being just really buggy and having performance issues. It's too much for the Switch to handle, some are arguing, and in some folks' minds, that's just cutting the knees off the entire experience. Like, the hardware limitations are holding it back. So it's kind of thing that like one of us powered through, and then one of us chose the performance to be what stopped us, because that kind of does reflect exactly the two like parallel tracks of conversation happening around this game, I feel like. So for me, what's been interesting is if you go online and you look at really any of the discussion around the game, it is about the bugs, which is understandable, absolutely. But what's kind of interesting about that is that it's burying in my mind, like what sucks about it is that it's burying the fact, what sucks beyond the bugs themselves, because let's be fair, the bugs aren't great. But beyond that, what sucks is it's burying the gameplay, like the ideas, the evolution of what a core Pokemon game is. Like, that stuff has been great from what I've experienced so far. I remember back when Pokemon Legends came out, all the way 11 months ago. Can't believe that was still this year. But, I was saying to you guys on one of our episodes something I say pretty often, which is I love the idea of like a living, breathing Pokemon world. I thought Legends was so cool for that reason. It's, my favorite aspect of like the Detective Pikachu movie. It's why, it's why I think as Pokemon has moved beyond its regular formula, it works so well, because for the first 20 years or so, everything about Pokemon was really like rigid. Like even the anime, like Ash followed the linear path of the games. Like, so starting to now show this world as having all these like facets that operate on their own and stuff. It's super cool conceptually to me, and I've wanted them to do it for so long, and they've been inching in that direction. So I've really been enjoying with my time with Violet so far is seeing a lot of the things I loved about Legends now actually being applied to the core Pokemon RPG. A lot of that more kind of real world vibe. I mean that in every sense, including the littlest ways, like how you could just be walking around outside in a city or in like the open world areas, and you'll see clusters of a type of Pokemon doing stuff together in their habitat. That's a fun thing in Legends. It's here too again. Or one thing I've really liked, as small as it is when you jump into battle, you're not whisked away to another screen. It's right there where you were in the environment, and the other wild Pokemon in the area, they're still there, and they'll sometimes react. Like sometimes they'll come watch. Like my very first wild Pokemon battle, a Hoppip came flying over from like out of nowhere to come watch the battle, and I just thought that was such a cool little touch. Or sometimes they'll just be, minding their own business and walking by. Other times actually get skittish and run away. Like the Pokemon's temperament.
That Hoppip.
What? For him to come and just like watch a fellow Pokemon get slaughtered? Yeah, well,
yeah, it's like
nature's pretty dark. If you think about it. The
Pokedex
like pretty
any same Pokemon would be like, oh man, there's some capturing going on. I need to kind of get away from this area. But they're like, no, I like.
No,
this.
He came with a big old smile and just like floated in and was just cheering.
Like, owed him some money or like did him wrong in the past, and they're like, yes, I am gonna enjoy this.
I'd say he was rubbing his little hands together, but I don't think he can touch his two hands. They're too far apart on his body. But yes. But that whole thing, like the different Pokemon reacting differently even to battles, like Pokemon's temperament was something that Legends experimented with, as you walked around the overworld. So it's now, seeing it now happen around the battles, it was a cool touch to me. And there have been multiple times I've noticed a Pokemon I didn't know was in the area, like a new Pokemon was like walking by or in the background of the battle or running away or something. And that actually sidetracked me. So like instead of just finishing the battle and going on with what I was planning to do, I was like, oh, well, what's that Pokemon? I need to go find him. So it actually had like real gameplay impact, something so small, which was kind of interesting. And zooming out to bigger things than just little Pokemon animations when you battle, I think the fact that like Scarlet and Violet becomes less linear than even Legends is pretty cool in capturing like the free spirit of you just doing what you want in a world of Pokemon. Because with Legends, like, you still unlock area by area in a single story, and you can choose, they'll be like, oh, here's area A, B, or C. Pick which one you don't want to do first, but it's still sort of sliced up in that way. Here you've got what was once kind of the single intertwined story of past games with like gym leaders and the typical Team Rocket type enemy. Now those plus this treasure hunt thing are three separate aspects of the world, and you can choose what you want to do whenever and really just bounce around. Like it doesn't have structure like it used to have, which is kind of nice. Plus there's this other set of systems that are kind of interwoven between those. The fact that you can now craft your own TMs using elements of Pokemon you encounter, like feathers or fur, that's one way to, I think, pretty cleverly actually reward whatever your gameplay style is. So for me, I'm really big on right now trying to catch every single Pokemon. I'm probably spending way too much time in the early game going to every nook and cranny of the environment, but like the new Pokedex looks really cool. There's these neat like cover photos for each Pokemon as you add them to your collection. They're all presented like a bookcase. It's really slick. But in doing that, I'm getting all these items to build TMs, and I can actually start really kind of bulking up my team how I want with the moves I want early on through this method. And, so that's me collecting Pokemon and bulking up my team that way versus, say, a person who may be playing more competitively, maybe someone more in the lane of like how you like to play Angel or something. Maybe it's not about grinding out all the wild Pokemon, but going gym to gym or battling Team Star or whatever. And you won't get the crafting materials that way because you only get those from wild Pokemon. But you will probably level up your Pokemon more aggressively and be able to get similar moves through that heavier amount of XP you're accumulating through these heftier battles with multiple trainers and gym leaders and that sort of thing. And if this plays out how I think it is as I progress through the game, it's essentially two approaches to the same outcome when there only used to be one. Like, I think it goes to show how Scarlet and Violet, in their underlying mechanics, are able to really sort of free up the experience and let you kind of forge your own path. Like, be it on the same, be it, you're doing it the same way you always done, and you're just leveling up by fighting in gyms, or you want to go catch a bunch of wild Pokemon, but you don't have to grind as much because now you can get all these TMs as you go. It's putting everyone on the same footing, however they choose to play, which is, at least in theory, which is especially helpful given all the co-op stuff you can do. So I thought that was really clever and something they didn't really touch on when they were promoting the game. They mentioned you could build TMs, but the way it kind of like lets you level up a separate way than just doing the gym stuff, I thought was actually really cool. I feel like I'm a little too early in the game to discuss anything beyond these sort of mechanics I'm discovering and enjoying. I don't know if the Victory Road gym system ultimately will feel any different than what's come before, or where this whole school thing is going. Like, there's this light socialization system with your teachers that earns you rewards should you wish to do it. It's kind of gives me vibes like Fire Emblem Three Houses, or maybe even like a Persona thing, kind of. And I, never mind terraforms and all that jazz with battling, which I feel like I definitely need to sink my teeth into more. But high level, there's just a lot of cool stuff I think Scarlet and Violet's underlying gameplay systems are doing that's different and fun. But there's also, to be fair, not even talking bugs, there's also some stuff I don't like as much. I already miss some of the quality of life improvements that came from Legends, little things like not having to be
fair
stopped.
to compare it to Legends? Because, man, Legends wasn't a mainline Pokemon game. So
I feel like, well, the problem is they're picking up and plopping down some stuff straight out of Legends, so it's hard to not do the comparison. But you're right. Technically, it's a spinoff, but I feel like Legends did so much right. That's kind of weird to see them go backwards a little. Like, one that's really minor. I don't know why. So Legends, you're walking around, you finish a battle, your Pokemon evolves. It just gives you a little notification as you're walking around. This one, your Pokemon evolves, the whole show stops and it has to show you the little animation. And it's such a minor thing, but it was so streamlined. And they still kept the streamlining of like telling you when Pokemon level up, of experience points, like all that stuff. They still keep the little notifications from Legends, but Evolution, like, no. You need to stop what you're doing and pay attention to your little Pidgey evolving or whatever. Which is, again, it's small, but just like, why go backwards on that? Similarly, I did kind of, and this one maybe is more your point, I did really like in Legends the faster pace of just lobbing Pokeballs at Pokemon instead of needing to always launch into turn-based battles. I'd be cool with that coming back in Scarlet and Violet. They try to capture a little of that streamlining with this automated battle mechanic called Let's Go, where if you press, I think, ZR or R, one of the shoulders, you can send out the first member of your party. They run around the area near you to grab items like in Legends, which is great. But they also battle nearby Pokemon automatically for you, which, yeah, it's cool. But so far, I've unintentionally missed out on multiple new Pokemon I needed to add to my Pokedex because there went my Quaxley, knocking them out without a second thought. So while it does streamline the grind of leveling up, it doesn't quite as even-handedly benefit the players who want to actually catch them all, which kind of, I feel like, flies in the face of what I was saying before about how there are all these other gameplay systems in Scarlet and Violet that are all about like balancing the varying play styles and gameplay goals and however you want to play. Like they have this even-keeled sort of approach. Yet this one kind of flies in the face of that. So, I mean, even if they just like, I don't know, let's say there's a new Pokemon, maybe instead of your Pokemon automatically find, maybe there's an alert that pops up in the corner and says something like, Quaxley found a new Pokemon, Igglybuff, press ZR to jump into battle, or like something like that. That'd bring back the kind of even-handedness that the rest of the game is doing so well. So maybe in a future patch they could do that. I also think that some holdovers from Legends just feel weird here, because again, I know we're not supposed to compare them one-to-one, but like, you can crouch in this game and sneak up on Pokemon just like you can in Legends. Like, it's the same animation even. And the main goal in Legends was you could do that to creep up on Pokemon, throw a Pokeball at them, catch them easily. If they don't see you coming, it's easier to catch. Here, it's just you get the first hit, and it's a little bit stronger, I guess, in the turn-based battle. Like, kind of like a typical RPG, or like what Tails does when you, like, creep up on enemy. Which, sure, like, there's nothing wrong with that. Bigger hits are nice, but it doesn't feel as important of a move, even though it's lifted straight out of Legends, and where it was important. And I don't know, I just find myself, it's easier to just run up to a Pokemon full speed and just do one extra hit in battle than to like sit there and creep through the grass and avoid. And so I don't know. That one's kind of a weird one where it feels like they weren't quite sure how to adapt it over. Well, the other holdovers I think would have been nice to not experience here is a little the sparseness of the overall world. Pokemon, much like in Legends, will spawn in spots where they do stuff together and have behavioral traits, but there's there's a fair amount of emptiness here. It's not just emptiness in Pokemon, but like visually speaking, if you look at the open world of like Xenoblade or something like that that's also on Switch and compare it to this, they look like they're on entirely different generations of hardware. There's like some really great texture work, surprisingly, on the Pokemon themselves, which I didn't expect, and the cities have some cool looks to them, but a lot of the open world is really simple geometry, really bland textures, like, yeah, the way the Pokemon engage and interact with one another is keeping that kind of like Pokemon world vibe alive for me, but it's definitely not the prettiest of games by any means, which I guess does make this a good transition point to the other side of the conversation with Scarlet and Violet, which is what stopped you from getting it, Kevin, the bugginess, right? So, Kevin, you held off on getting it just because you heard like performance, like it crashed, it chugged, it wasn't worth the playtime.
Yep. Mainly because I'm gonna piss off a lot of people by saying this.
Do it.
I'm tired of Nintendo getting a free pass, and I was talking to some friends over dinner. Mm-hmm. We were talking about like they don't really have an incentive to make the games perform good, because they know that they will eat whatever slop they're given.
I see how you're angering the fandom. Yes.
This game runs like crap, and yet it's still the best-selling Pokemon in forever.
Fastest selling Nintendo game of all time. Yeah,
I'm voting with my wallet. I know it's not going to make any changes, but no, I absolutely refuse to support something like this, especially if
I think that's
you have
fair.
The highest grossing franchise in the history of anything, and you just don't want to make the game run good.
Yeah, I will say my firsthand experience up front, like I should be clear, I haven't had the worst experience of what people are saying, so what I'm going to come in with is not as severe as what some people have. Like I've had frame rate dips and some light chugging. I've had textures drop every so often. I've had a few clippings of characters.
This
lot
is
of
Pokemon.
pop-in.
That shouldn't happen at all.
I know. But the thing that I haven't had, though, no crashes, no collision detection issues that impact gameplay, nothing on that scale. And I think as we do talk about this, it is worth at least mentioning Nintendo did put out a patch and the tiniest apology, like literally a sentence in a support page that apologizes back on December 1st, a couple days ago. So they're kind of trying to address it, I get. But what bothers me, which is kind of in line with what you're saying, what bothers me most about this is that it happened at all. Like, I feel like what you're saying about, fans will buy up whatever slop Nintendo puts out. Yeah, in terms of the content, but I feel like in terms of technical standards, like they have a high standard for the performance of their games, traditionally speaking. And Game Freak, they have the reputation of their games not being the most technologically advanced or leveraging the full potential of the hardware, but never, until now, has a game from Game Freak or Nintendo, I think, actively been this broken, for lack of a better word. Like, they'd be simple, they'd be bare bones, they'd be functional. Like, even Legends, it was sparse, but it ran relatively well. So this was like a new frontier, if you will, in terms of the syncing of what you get when you buy a Nintendo game. And I do have a few thoughts, because I didn't talk about it over dinner with friends, but I've been stewing on this while sitting on an airplane for 6 hours in 2 directions. Wow. And I have a few thoughts on how maybe we got here and one big concern about where it will take us. I think in terms of why it happened, it really feels to me like Scarlet and Violet was this kind of clutch release for Nintendo this year. This isn't excusing it at all. This is just maybe how we got here. Because they already lost Zelda. That was delayed till May. As you guys may have seen on Twitter, I noted that this is the first December since 2013 where nowhere in the world is Nintendo releasing a new first-party game. In October, there wasn't really a major first-party release. There's Mario & Rabbids, which is a spin-off. There's Bayonetta, which can do well enough, but there was no, big holiday blockbuster. Splatoon could have been a big holiday blockbuster if they saved it in Japan, and it would have killed it there, but, outside Japan, it's not at the scale of a Mario, a Zelda, a Pokemon. So Nintendo, the company, needed this. This game, regardless of what the developers needed or what resources were available or what timeline they needed to polish it up, from Nintendo's business speaking, Nintendo basically had to launch when they did. They didn't have an option in their mind, it seems. And Nintendo's already, if you look at the rest of their holiday, they're already trying to augment what is a light holiday lineup by hitting us with a bunch of DLC for existing games to give them a boost. We got Chill Season in Splatoon this past week. We got Golf and Switch Sports this past week. This coming week, we get Wave 3 of the Mario Kart 8 Booster Course Pass. Like, there's a lot of stuff coming down the pipe. But those can't carry a holiday by themselves because they'll sell to a general population at this point, but they already sold so many copies into a very crucial existing audience, the day oneers, the diehards, the core gamers. Like, Nintendo needed something to sell to them, and all the buzz that then comes with that hot new release that sort of has a trickle-down effect. You know, the hot new game every kid was going to be talking about at school in December and then get for Christmas. Like, new tracks in Mario Kart are not that. Golf and Switch Sports, they're marketing it to families and literally grandparents, I've noticed. So that's not the one. Chill Season in Splatoon, that's just riding the marketing hype building campaign they've been doing for months now. They needed newness. They, for better or worse, needed Pokemon. And like you said, Ken, sure enough, they did get what they want because Pokemon Scarlet and Violet, fastest selling Nintendo game in history, 10 million copies in 3 days, over 10 million in 3 days. But now there's this weird caveat of it being the buggiest game probably in Nintendo history as well, at least at launch. And looking at how like Nintendo now views so many of their releases, not as like finished products, but as sort of like foundation to build on, I'm a little concerned. Like, I can't help but wonder what this might mean for the bugginess of other games in the future. Like, to elaborate on that a bit, we've talked so much over the years, and you sort of summed it up with the word slop, Kevin, but we talked so much over the years on the old round Nintendo about how Nintendo release a game with less content and then augment it later, right? Like the Splatoons of the world, ARMS, the Mario Sports games, Switch Sports. It's a riff on the from the Game as Service playbook, but for full price releases. It works well for Nintendo. They keep selling games at high numbers and keep pulling this off. And then, you know, that gets all the early adopters on board with the initial sales, and they use updates or DLC to sort of give the game a boost or receive sales from like a secondary general population later. It lets them fill gaps in their lineup. It keeps everyone relatively happy because all the day one adopters are now getting free new content. So like it kind of balances out and it kind of works. But my concern is that up to this point, they experimented with this idea with content, but with Scarlet and Violet, it wasn't unfinished in terms of content. It was unfinished in terms of like quality assurance, in terms of performance. And even then, like when the review scores came out and were being dragged down, not due to anything wrong with the concepts of the game, but the bugginess, or even with like the initial conversation online focusing entirely on the bugginess in a way I don't recall any other Nintendo game experiencing ever. Even with all that, still the fastest selling Nintendo games of all time, right? And for the broader audience, you know, the little Timmies sharing all their hype on the schoolyard about getting Scarlet and Violet for Christmas, when it pops up under the tree layer this month, guess what? It's mostly fixed. There's going to be at least one, maybe two patches by then. Like, Nintendo's going to fix the bugs. So my jaded thought is Nintendo has already comfortably adopted a model of releasing, from a content perspective, unfinished games that will fill out their lineup and fans will snatch up early on and everything like chugs along. If they had such runaway success with Scarlet and Violet, even with the bugs for the first few weeks, will Nintendo find that they can, from a game performance perspective, also get away with unfinished releases and just patch them a little later? Because that's a slippery slope. And I don't think every game will suffer from this going forward by any means. But there's, you know, a marquee holiday game, and it's a little buggy. Will Nintendo let that slide in a way they didn't before? Is their perspective on what requires a delay or requires, you know, the Miyamoto quote to be put into action of, a bad game's bad forever or whatever, is that going to shift? Is that quote no longer accurate because you can just patch things? Bad games won't be bad forever. You can patch them. So that's kind of the real concern I have with the bugginess. Not so much the experience, because like I said, it hasn't crashed on me. It hasn't been too detrimental of a play experience for me yet, Violet. But the fact that it was for people and Nintendo sort of powered through and then had such good sales, like I said, it's a slippery slope. I don't know.
I do know. Fuck that. They have so much money in the bank. So much money in the bank. That you are just going to let that... It's so...
I mean, I'm not letting it slide. That's my whole point. I think we're going to get into a weird... Because I do think if they were to continue down this road, there's a lot of factors that they're going to have to assess for them to decide if it's worth continuing down the road. Like, what is the longer tail of Scarlet and Violet sales after that first weekend? Like, did it drop off faster because of the bad bug situation? Is there going to be a rebound after the patches?
Probably not.
Probably not. Exactly. I don't know. I would bet. I can't. Yeah. I would bet the conversation that we're having now of will Nintendo try this again in light of what happened? That doesn't seem like a conversation that even was possible like a couple years ago, and that's what's weird to me. You know what I mean? Like, to even be thinking that they could do a similar move in the future and it could be feasible is a thought Nintendo never had the opportunity to consider before, because they had that higher standard, and because they let that slip, and now they have this reality. It's like, well, they gotta keep doing that, like, because you're right. You spoke with your wallet, Kevin. 10 million people, myself included, didn't. So I don't know. Yeah, I know. I mean, we'll see. I do think if you really want to go down this rabbit hole, you can open up a whole other conversation about if Nintendo allows bugginess to become more common and the bugs hurt a game's sales and that game does something innovative or adventurous, will Nintendo have the wrong takeaway and assume it's the gameplay idea, not the bugs, that are to blame for future failures? I mean, that's a super hypothetical road to go down. So I hope we don't get there, but I never had that thought. I never had the thought, like, well, Nintendo's shining things, but they always, performance-wise, put out really good stuff. Content-wise, it's been, there's been that debate for years since the Wii U. But performance-wise, we've had, like, quality releases. There'd be a bug at most here or there that they'd have to patch, like Splatoon. Chill Season, there's a bug in version 2.0. 2 of the weapons behave weird. They're patching it. Okay, that just slips through QA, not the end of the world. It's one thing. They're patching it quickly. But, like, the whole game, that's new for them. So, I don't know. We'll see. I'm enjoying my time with Scar and Violet. I just would probably like it more if it wasn't buggy. So. Yeah, it's a weird conversation to have.
Yeah, it doesn't help that I was already on the fence on getting it, and definitely leaning more on the side of not getting it. Not because I don't know anything necessarily with Pokemon, because I do like Pokemon, but just time and energy to like invest in the game. And
right.
Honestly, I don't even know if I'd go full battle anymore. I just think that time has passed now. Like, there's too many other things I want to dedicate to, and I still want to continue to play Smash Brothers. So, you kind of pick the hill you die on. And
don't even start me with that conundrum.
Exactly, but
World Tour, yeah.
But hearing about like these issues, like, definitely made me go like, oh, okay, I can definitely wait. Like, waiting is easy for a game, but then you get into the other situation where it's a Pokemon game, and I don't know, even if I don't play with I wouldn't be playing with other people directly, it'd be online or something. Jumping into a Pokemon game a year later is ridiculously hard. Like, I was so sure I was going to get Sword and Shield when the DLC launched, because I just wasn't really quite ready to get out of my hiatus. Like, I still felt a little burnt out by Pokemon, just gameplay-wise, collecting-wise, that never really stopped. But yeah, the DLC came out, and for some reason it just felt like, I just don't really have the mental energy to beat the first campaign and then get through the DLC. Like, I just couldn't really do it. So even though I'm saying now, like, I'll wait for the patches to work out, for the game to get patched up, maybe get it next year, but next year's going to roll around, and there's going to be
another Pokemon game.
Yeah, there's going to be another Pokemon game, or there's going to be other games that I'm playing, and I basically just have to accept that, yeah, if you don't really if you're remotely a fan of Pokemon, I feel like if you don't get it, like the first couple, around the launch window, there's a good chance you're probably just not going to get it. I'm sure there's exceptions, obviously. Hardcore people are still going to get it no matter what, but...
Well, the hardcore are going to get it day one no matter what. Yeah.
But the people like me that are like, they're still kind of like, they enjoy it enough. It's just more like, oh, I'll get it if, I have time. But, yeah, they might lose a decent chunk of people. But
yeah, I'm really curious what the longer tail sales are going to be.
Especially the people now. Like, some of those hardcore, I know for a fact, are now probably just going to wait a little bit. They're still going to buy it. Like, they're still going to have those same hardcore people buy the game, except it just won't be like day one purchases. You might just be more week 2 purchases or something like that.
But even then, like day 1 versus week 2, the patch took 3 weeks, which is still very quick.
The game's been out for 3 weeks?
It came out the 18th. It's now December... This goes up December 4th. Or maybe it's 2 weeks. Can I not math? Hold on. Let me try and math this. It's 2 to 3 weeks, yeah.
I'm sure you're right, but yeah, time is just going different.
Yeah, it came out the 18th. Then there's the 25th. Then we're just over 2 weeks, actually. Yeah.
Okay, so I'm not surprised it wasn't...
I think that the threshold, so to speak, is Christmas. January, what Scarlet and Violet does in January is going to be... Like, how many of these holdouts that in January are going to be like, well, now that's patched, let me hop in. How many in March? How many in May? How many in summer? Like, it's going to dwindle. And I think that's the other weird thing about this, is Pokemon is so atypical for Nintendo because they don't do annual franchises, except Pokemon. So, like, if they did do a buggy release of something... with another game, in theory, they could kind of relaunch it, do some patches, put out some new content, kind of do a 2.0 launch, kind of Wii U to Switch it, so to speak, like the way that Switch is kind of like a Wii U 2.0, and they kind of addressed everything. You can't do that when they were pumping out the games yearly, more frequently than yearly. I mean, it was 11 months between Legends and Scarlet and Violet, so it's they have put themselves in a weird spot, Nintendo, and that it's a spot I didn't think I just want the seal quality back. That's all. Like I'm hopeful as I continue to play Violet. Races, yeah, possibly, and I'm hopeful as I continue to play Violet that the patches will bring it back up to that.
They were making way too many shows that they said they had to cut back, or at least not launch.
Well, that's all streaming right now because they were trying to get as many subscribers as they could at a cutthroat price, and they pump out as much content as they could. And then once they lock them in, they're like, "Oh, well, we need to raise the price and scale back because we're burning money like crazy." Yeah, so. Yeah, so I mean, we'll see. It's weird because I am really enjoying my time with Violet. It's just what it means for Nintendo is so yeah.
Yeah. Well, what a shame.
We'll see. But that said,
yeah,
great Pokemon name puns. House, mouse, mouse, house.
Yeah, there are a couple birds I found that I kind of like. When I go to Japan, I'm probably going to check out some of their plushies. I know there's one bird with a pompadour, or he's a greaser or something.
Yeah, I know who you're talking about. I forgot his name, though. Yeah, I don't think he has a good pun name. If it does, I'm just forgetting. But
yeah. If it did, you would remember.
Right.
But yeah, I guess that came out this year. Can't believe Arceus came out this year as well. That game was.
That's what's crazy.
That was February. Yeah. But, I guess, being a game that came out this year, we have Game Awards coming out next week, which... For the first time in a while, I'm actually going to be attending because I kind of have to. It'd be weird for me to.
Wait, you're going to be there?
Yeah,
you're going? I'm going. I'm going as public. You're probably going as developer, but we should wave from afar or say hi.
Maybe.
Or you can ignore me completely because you're with your cool San Marcos Studio friends.
But no, yeah, we're just going as public. We bought our tickets as a group.
Wait, Sony didn't hook you up? Didn't get you tickets? I guess that makes sense. They have so many people they could give tickets to, and the theater only seats 3,000, so that makes sense, actually.
But yeah, we'll be there. There'll be game announcements. There's going to be a lot of world premieres. They're going to feel like this didn't need to be a world premiere, and then there might be some that actually feel whoa, they somehow still have a Smash reveal character. That would be crazy.
Yeah, 5 years late. Also, breaking news as of this recording, there will be a Muppet. Animal will be presenting at this year's awards. He took a break from the Muppets the last couple of years, but the Muppets are fun, so.
Yeah, I do like the Muppets, so that already makes it worth it. Because usually I haven't attended the last 2 or 3, I've just been kind of watching them online. But, if there's any other cool performance as well, that would also be pretty cool. Usually those are neat. But...
Yeah, they announced... Oh, here's one you'll appreciate. Hosier, or however you say his name, and Bear McCreary are doing a song from God of War. Live. So there you go.
Well, there you go. Already super awesome.
Yeah.
But yeah, someone has a list, right, of the nominees. Let's see if we can.
Oh yeah, do you want to do predictions?
Yeah.
Yes, I could pull up a list.
I think
Or Kevin, do you want to pull up a list? Do you have a list?
Do we have a marker of how we did last time?
I don't have it.
Be it individually or as a group.
It's probably in the doc that I deleted immediately. I should probably keep a hold of this.
Yeah, I have a list of the nominees if you want me to just read them off.
All right, we'll just assume that I got first place and you and Kevin tied for second.
That sounds wrong, but there's no way to prove it, so okay.
Oh, sweet. All right, so that is our current standing.
How do I argue that? It's just I'm going to say I was first and you guys tied. We have no evidence, so. All right, so obviously, Angel, you have to...
I'll go for it.
Sorry, go ahead.
I was going to say, you could just debate it and we'll just have to go, fine, we'll just call it a blank slate because we can't prove anything, but it's too late now.
I'm throwing you a bone.
Thank you.
I'm feeling nice.
I'm sure you two will catch up soon enough. But yeah.
Oh, yeah, okay. Kevin, you said you did not have a list, right?
No.
Okay, good, because I do. All right, so Angel, you have to abstain from God of War. So for anything with God of War, you have to pick something that isn't God of War, because you have,
Fair enough.
Yeah. So, all right, for Game of the Year, gentlemen, the nominees are...
We're starting with Game of the Year?
I'm just going down the list. Fine, we'll do everything but... Okay. Fine, the list started with Game of the Year. All right, for Best Game Director... I feel like I'm doing this the wrong way. Let me go from the weakest
You can also skip
categories.
almost all the esports ones.
Yeah, I'm going right past those. All right, folks. Let's start with... You know what? Let's start with the Nintendo category, and then we'll work our way out. Best Family Game. This is a category that Nintendo... I did the math because I'm a weirdo. of all the Best Family nominees since the start of Game Awards, Nintendo has been 2/3 of the games in the 7-8 years of the Game Awards. And sure enough, this year they are 4 out of 5. Well, 3 out of 5, 4 if you count 1. So the nominees are, for Best Family, Kirby and the Forgotten Land, Lego Star Wars, The Skywalker Saga, Mario plus Rabbids, Spark of Hope, Nintendo Switch Sports, and Splatoon 3.
I would want Kirby to win. I mean, of that list, that's the one I want to play. I wanted to play the most. I still plan on playing it. Just once things calm down. But that one also just like mechanically feels like the most family-friendly game. And I'm just thinking like very broadly, like, oh, you could play with any member of the family, be it like a 5-year-old to like a 30-year-old. Whereas all of them have a higher barrier of entry. Like, I mean, yeah, I guess your Splatoon, but that's either going to click or not click. And I'm ready. And Wii Sports, this one.
Excuse you, Angel. Switch Sports.
Switch Sports. I don't know. That one also felt like maybe just from the general conversation, because obviously I didn't get it. It felt like only 2 or 3 of the games were fun, and even then, I don't know. It didn't feel like it would have as much of a big communal family thing like Kirby would, even if it's just 2 people.
Yeah,
but
I'm just gonna really quick. All right,
also, the music
you're doing Kirby.
So far, damn, like that DDD remix. Oh my god.
Oh, the music's great. All right, Kevin, where are you picking out of these? And then I have a bone to pick that I want to say.
I'll go Splatoon.
So I have a bone to pick with Splatoon. I think of the I was torn between Kirby and Splatoon. I have a bone to pick with Splatoon. It's going to make me pick Kirby, but not because Splatoon won't win, but because Kirby is more deserving. I think the problem with Splatoon, they call it a family game. You can't play it with your family. It's single player on one device. You need to have multiple switches and hop online. It's not a family game. It's a game that's family friendly.
You could play with your family sitting on the couch.
But it's not a family game.
Are you with me, son?
Your dad can pop in and watch over your show and be like, oh, you should ink that spot. And little Timmy would be like, thanks, Dad. And that, I guess, is a family interaction.
The new ink boost. Hold down.
Yeah, don't forget to collect your prizes from the last Splatfest, son. Because I say that because I forgot to collect my prizes. I can't. Yeah. Did you get the fake Nintendo Power you always wanted? But yeah, it's not a real family. Like all these other games, you can have basically couch co-op. Have a way to play with your family. You can gather around it.
The category perfectly, right?
The description of the category is for the best game appropriate for family play, irrespective of genre or platform. And again, you can't play it as a family
there are some
easily.
Other games and other categories that to me feel like, what the heck? I'm sure
I mean, for sure, the best family category, like I said, 2/3 are Nintendo nominees. The best family category is, here's some games Nintendo made that are colorful and bright. Let's just throw them in a category. And I guess Lego Star Wars gets a bone thrown too. Like it's a Nintendo category, but Splatoon is probably the strongest in terms of what it offers and the amount of effort that went into it and like the depth of it and the whole community of it. But
man, that is a lot of money that Nintendo made from that one family.
Seriously,
a bunch of copies of the game.
And to be fair, Nintendo's whole MO, if you look at their like recent financials, I don't talk about as much with you guys, but if you go and look at that, their whole MO is like we're now trying to sell multiple Switches to single households. So in a way, it could be a family game if you do like a Splatoon LAN party of sorts through Switch Online and everyone's paying for subscriptions and all that jazz. But it's not really the best game appropriate for family play. You know what I mean? But it is one of the strongest candidates in terms of just quality of game. So I get where you're coming from with that, Kevin. I think I'm going to go Kirby overall, though, because that actually fits what family means. But that's Game Awards' fault, not anyone else's. Okay. So that is Best Family. We could probably speed this up as we get into some of the others. Skipping all the esports. Okay. Here's kind of an interesting one. How about Best Adaptation? What show or movie based on a game do you think gets the award? Especially in our randomer Nintendo days where we talk about shows and movies. So, nominees are Arcane, League of Legends, Cyberpunk Edgerunners, The Cuphead Show, ! Sonic the Hedgehog 2, or Uncharted.
I've heard excellent things and I've seen excellent things on the first 4. I don't know much about Uncharted, but damn, I loved Arcane. Oh man, I don't know, but I also really love Sonic. Because they're like kind of polar opposites. One is like so good you don't need to know anything about League of Legends to enjoy it. Like I just enjoyed it as its own thing. Like it actually made me invested in those characters. And I could go like, oh, it's that character from that one show. Even though obviously the game predated it. But, but Sonic was just pure fun. Except for there was like that one 30-minute segment in the middle where it just turned into
the wedding scene.
A different comedy. Yeah, like a rom-com. But I guess I would have to give it overall to Arcane. Also, just because of the way they broke ground with new animation techniques, and I don't know, it was just so well done. I mean, I love Sonic. I think I want to pick Sonic, but I think I have to give it to Arcane. Just gotta recognize what it did. Just
How about you,
out
Kevin?
of nowhere.
I've only seen Cyberpunk, but I'm pretty sure Arcane is gonna take it.
Yeah, I'm leaning towards Arcane
I still
myself.
want to watch Cyberpunk too.
I've
heard good things about that as well.
Yeah, I remember you talking up Cyberpunk, Kevin.
It's by Trigger, right?
Back. It's Studio Trigger,
yeah,
correct?
Trigger.
Yeah, they're awesome.
Yeah, I think I'm leaning towards Arcane as well. I mean, there's only one on this list that like has
Did that even come out
received
this year?
actual Arcane.
Yeah, that was last year.
I think so. It might, yeah, technically it was December, but the entry period for the Game Awards, I believe this year it ended November 18th. So anything that comes out after mid-November last year qualifies for this year.
Makes sense.
Yeah.
Early,
So, but yeah, I'm voting Arcane as well. Even though I've only seen Sonic, I've heard great things about Arcane. It's the only one on here that won all sorts of fancy technical achievement awards and other things. So in terms of like quality of product, or not even quality, that's not right, but in terms of innovation of product and execution, it seems like that's the one that's going to
I'm
get
sure we've talked about it in one of our episodes. I still recommend it. Looking forward to season 2. Blah blah.
Yeah, it's a pretty decent soundtrack too. I actually have some songs from the soundtrack, which is funny because I've never seen the show. Yeah. All right, next on the list, best debut indie. Oh, this one's. I think I know what Kevin's gonna say. All right, here we go.
Like,
for the best debut game, created by a new independent studio. Okay. So I'm gonna go ahead and name the studio and the game. Right. So, well, best however you define it, you know. So, Neon White by Angel. Look at that, Angel. You made a game by Angel Matrix and published by Annapurna Interactive. Norco by Geography of Robots, published by Raw Fury. Stray by Blue 12 Studio, published by Annapurna. Tunic by Tunic Team, okay, published by Finji. And Vampire Survivors, published and developed by Ponsel. I
like Stray because Cap, but it's funny because that one feels like the least indie of all of them.
It does. It's the most high budget, I would say.
Yeah, which, you know, it's not fair. But Annapurna is already, like, kind of approaching, like, way forward levels of, if not already, where...
I think they're past way forward in my mind. Annapurna's approaching, like...
yeah, because they work with
they're up there. They're big.
Actually, yeah, you're right. I feel like way forward feels like way more indie now.
They're Digital Devolver level of indie. Like, they make a ton of stuff.
Yeah,
but theirs all like has a through line and a certain vibe.
I mean, is there like a different kind of? I mean, I'm just gonna call these super indies now, and then like regular indies are just like, you know,
you know what? I would still say though,
game by themselves, like cave story status, like that feels like super indie.
Well, then Neon White should get it by default for you because Neon White was developed by like one guy.
Oh my gosh!
And his name is Angel, right, Kevin? That's right. Like it was one guy, right? Neon White, because you played it. I think you know.
Wait, say that again.
Neon White was developed by a single guy, right? Or
I don't think so.
Oh, maybe I'm wrong then. I could have sworn. Oh, no, it's 3 guys. Never mind. It was 3 guys, one of whom did some card game on iOS before that.
Well, yeah, I mean, yeah, indie, obviously, that just makes it way more impressive, but, damn, I don't know who to pick. I like the art style of Tunic. I think it's cool.
Tunic's very charming. Tunic's very Link's Awakening remake in style.
I think I'm going to go with Stray. It was just in my mind presence the most. Mainly the merch that came around it. Like, I still keep looking at the cat backpack thing, even though I don't have a cat. I still kind of look at it and I'm like, it's only $165, but what am I going to do with it?
Give it to me. I have 3 cats. I'll put one in it and parade it around the apartment. Give it to me.
We'll see.
All right. Kevin, do you have a best indie day? Well,
Hold up. You have niece?
No, I said I have a 6-month-old niece.
Oh, I thought you said that you had 6-month niece. I'm like, when did we just skip this part of your life? We decided to get a couple of mice.
He has a Tantamouse or a Mouse House or whatever those Pokemon are. Just a collection of mice. But Kevin, what would you say your indie is?
Oh, considering
I know you're
I've only played one game on there and I loved it. It's gonna go to Neon White for sure.
Neon White's coming to PlayStation next week for anyone listening that doesn't own a Switch. And what are you doing here if you don't own a Switch? But yeah, it's I'm gonna lean toward Stray. I think is gonna get it. Everything you said about Neon White makes me want that one to get. Next category.
Awesome.
Next category, best multiplayer. Finally, one where Splatoon actually fits. Okay, so for outstanding online multiplayer game and design, including co-op and massively multiplayer experiences, irrespective of genre or platform, we've got Call of Duty, Modern Warfare 2, Multiversus, Overwatch 2, Splatoon 3, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, Shredder's Revenge. Quite a diverse list, actually.
Yeah, that's a tough one too. It's like,
It is.
I mean, I would, personally, I guess I'd give it to Multiverses, but I feel like when I think multiplayer, like I would give Multiverses, I would put that more in the fighting game category because I don't really see it being like a great couch co-op. I mean, you can't even really do couch co-op because everyone needs their own device to play Multiverses.
To be fair, it does. The category is for outstanding online multiplayer. Specifically. Yeah.
Well, I guess I can only
That
pick the
changes everything.
Multiverses, but that game is just really fun. They keep introducing new characters out of nowhere. Like, even though there was that leak that said we were going to get a Daffy and a Godzilla and some other wacky things, we're still getting other wacky things out of nowhere. Like, we just got Marvin the Martian, and the way he's animated and portrayed is just freaking awesome. I don't know. I'm still blown away by how it got everything that Nickelodeon All-Stars, like, wish it could have done as far as just, like, polish. I mean, gameplay is obviously a lot more simpler, but it's also just wackier. It's funner. It's like a less stressful Smash Brothers, which I feel just makes it that much more fun in some ways. You have one for your sweaty games, and you have one for I just want to have some fun. Not to say that's not really
I like that description. For your sweaty games, when you really want to just get your hands as clammy as possible.
You want to get
check
that
out
fun
Super
rush.
Smash
You want to be like, oh man, I felt like I was going to pass out because I was like holding my breath for so long. And this one...
Do you not want to throw your controller but have it just fall out of your hands? Well, check out a sweaty game.
But yeah, I guess I'll go with Multiverses. It needs something.
Okay.
I don't know if this is the only category it's in, but probably fighting. But yeah.
Where are you landing on this one, Kevin?
I'll give it to Splatoon 3.
Yeah, I was going to say Splatoon 3. I think realistically... Actually, this year's tricky. Like, Call of Duty, we've gotten it years ago. Overwatch, I feel like doesn't... It's doing great, I know, in terms of like player base, but I feel like it doesn't have a ton of buzz around it in the way other games have in the past. Ninja Turtles would be like a weird, almost just like we're doing it because it's different. Like I think I'm gonna go Splatoon for both. Yeah.
Oh wait, you said Ninja Turtles in this category?
Yeah, Shredder's Revenge.
Oh, well, yeah. I guess when you just said Shredder's Revenge, I just didn't process because you didn't say the full name.
I did say the full name.
You did?
Roll
Wow.
back the tape.
Oh wow. Well, yeah, I definitely vote for that one. That one.
Okay.
Literally encompassed everything that I was talking about for. I mean, I know it says online, but like when I think best multiplayer game, like that one is just so fun to play like as a group because it's just sort of minus button mashing, but it's great soundtrack, great levels, just nice short bursts of fun. I don't know, it was amazing. It caught me by surprise. It made me like beat 'em ups in the sense that
Right, because it's a genre you don't even like. Yeah.
So it literally made me go like rethink a genre. So
that's worthy of your choice change. Yes.
I bought the vinyl, which I liked it. It was great. And the collector's
I didn't even know they did a
edition
vinyl. From Europe. Okay. Wait, so you have American Collector's Edition, a European Collector's Edition, and
No. The American Collector's Edition wasn't that great. It was like really expensive for what it came with. So I instead bought the European Collector's Edition because it had some what I thought cooler, more practical things, and it was also just way cheaper. And I mean, I got the game digitally, so I just have a physical copy that is just for the collector stuff. My digital copy that we actually played, and just a vinyl,
right,
for the music.
Gotcha.
Same thing with the
and you almost didn't pick it. Wow.
Yeah.
I know you didn't hear me, but wow. All right, best sports and racing game. This one I have no idea. Okay, here we go. It's gonna be a lot of years. You ready? F1 22, FIFA 23, NBA 2K23, Gran Turismo 7, and Curveball, Oli Oli World.
I'm gonna give it to Oli Oli World just because it isn't one of the other ones.
Right.
Same.
I think realistically,
Be right
Gran
back.
Turismo.
You're gonna pee.
I think okay. I was just say I think Gran Turismo or FIFA might actually get it in reality, but Oli Oli would be cool.
But
yeah, I mean Gran Turismo is a technical achievement. It always is. Like it's some of the most impressive looking video gameage, like in terms of just like realism you can get.
They achieve on that game, and honestly, like even the sports games themselves, like all of those, like the amount of mechanics that they have built into those with all the different players is still pretty impressive. But they're not really my cup
The
of
one
tea,
I think,
so it's really hard for
the
me
one
to
I think
judge
is
any of those.
Yeah, same. The one I think is interesting that's missing and has been missing, I believe, for a few years is Madden. What a fall from grace that Madden had. Nothing against the game, but like it's had bugs. It didn't change enough year over year. Like that used to be. It's still one of the best selling games every summer. But like, what a fall from like Madden Mania how many years ago to not even getting a nomination in the sports category that used to dominate.
Would you say it's Madden?
I was just saying how Madden fell from grace and isn't even on the list.
Would you say it's
like they've had some issues with Madden? I mean, not for me because I don't care about Madden, but maybe for the Madden devs.
Yeah.
All right, now that you're back, Kevin,
Well,
next category. So. What was that? Oh, that's true. That got dark. Okay, best simulation / strategy game. Here are your options: Dune: Space Wars, Mario plus Rabbids: Sparks of Hope, Total War: Warhammer 3, 2 Point Campus, Victoria 3.
Oof, I
haven't played any of these.
Same.
I'll give it to Dune just because I heard that one was pretty good.
I'm throwing it to Mario and Rabbids just because I heard that one's pretty good. And I like the first one.
Victoria 3 because it sounds prestigious.
Medieval, Renaissance era. Yeah. Yes. And sorry, 2 Point Campus. I guess none of us want to.
I mean, I've heard of 2 Point Hospital. Actually, 2 Point Hospital.
2 Point's a series.
Hospital. Yeah. So I guess out of simulation, I guess it probably is the best from there. But that's just
it's not super simmy though. It's very cartoony. So
yeah, but so is Mario and Rabbids. I mean, it's like it
that's
feels
true.
Kind of loose. I was kind of
it's interesting that simulation / strategy. Yeah.
I'll still go with Victoria 3.
Okay. All right, and like I said, I'm doing Mario Rabbids. Okay, best
what they did
fighting.
With the lighting is pretty impressive.
Victoria, are you watching a trailer right now? Like, how did you get to that?
I'm just hoping they did something interesting with their lighting.
It would be so funny if the game had like no lighting effects after you said that.
Man.
Like it's just all just like flat lighting. Anyway, best fighting game. For best game design, primarily around head-to-head combat. There is DNF Duel by Arc System Works. There is JoJo's Bizarre Adventure All-Star Battle R. There is the King of Fighters Math XV. I'm trying to think what that would be. I guess 15. There's Multiversus. And there is, I think it's pronounced Sifu, or is it Saifu? The Kung Fu game.
Sifu.
Okay. And that's the one that I'm like, why are they in this category? Just because you fight NPCs?
It's around head-to-head combat is the category. And it is
head-to-head is like person-to-person.
Fair.
Because it's a head-to-head. You're fighting NPCs. It's a single-player game. With like fight, I mean, does that mean a beat-em-up is a fighting game? I mean, it's basically that.
Yeah, why isn't Ninja Turtles here in that case?
Yeah, it's kind of a weird one. I don't think that game should be on there. Because you can't really compare it to... Like, because that has a campaign. You're playing through a campaign. And you're comparing it to something like King of Fighters that I guess has a campaign, but people are just playing it for the head-to-head fighting mechanics. It's... I don't know. I guess...
Okay, so not that one.
I guess I don't know where else they could have put it. I guess like action...
It could have gone under action.
Yeah.
Actually, that makes a lot of sense under action. Yeah.
But I guess from there, I guess I'll go with Multiverses again. For being
that would be mine. Yeah.
I mean, the way they did Rick and Morty was interesting. Mainly just watching Elvis play because he's really good at that game.
Kevin, what about you?
I'll give it to Sifu.
Damn.
Wow. Just everything Angel said just threw out the window. All right. Best role playing. Shall we move on?
Sure.
Okay, so best role playing. Here, this is a bit of a kind of interesting, sort of a stacked category, at least if you're a Nintendo player. So obviously there's Elden Ring. There's also Live Alive, or Live Alive, or Live Alive, however you want to call it. There's Pokemon Legends Arceus. Not Scarlet and Violet, even though it came out on the last day of submissions. There's Triangle Strategy. And there's Xenoblade Chronicles 3.
I don't know. I mean, I guess...
It's gonna go to Elden Ring, let's be real.
I was gonna say, I guess Elden Ring's an RPG, so I guess that one, because I felt like everyone and their uncle played it and seemed to enjoy it.
I feel like it has to go Elden Ring. I would be happy with it going... I would like Pokemon Legends to get a little spotlight on again, because I thought it was really good, and it got buried by Scarlet and Violet being announced. So personally, I would be cool with Legends getting it, but it has to be Elden Ring. There's no way.
That would be a pleasant upset, but it's going to go to Elden Ring.
Right. What do you think, Kevin?
Oh, I wonder. I wonder.
Okay, marking you down for triangle strategy. Got it.
No, live alive. Come on. No.
Oh, of course. Silly me. Yeah, obviously. Okay, best action adventure game that isn't Sifu. A Plague Tale Requiem, God of War Ragnarok, which you must abstain from, Angel, Horizon Forbidden West, Stray, or Tunic.
Action adventure. That's the kind of game a Plague Tale is. I actually don't know much about Plague Tale except for like 2 screenshots. But it looks interesting.
Yeah, I don't know a whole lot. I know people like it. There's a listener of ours who, shout out Kurt, he really likes it. He was tweeting about it the other day, and I was
Very
like, wow,
intrigued by
this
it.
is high praise.
Is it an Xbox exclusive? Can people on PlayStation
It's on Game
5
Pass. I know that much.
play it? Huh.
I don't know.
I guess it must be on PC. So, well, you said Game Pass, so yeah. I don't know. I'm gonna give it to Tunic. I'm gonna give it something.
Wow, curveball. Kevin?
It'll probably go to God of War.
Yep, agreed. I think the scale and scope of what I've heard of Horizon Forbidden West would be a good runner-up, but yeah, I think God of War got that one in the bag. Okay, now for best.
So much hype coming out, and then other things came out.
Horizon.
This year.
Yeah. It's one. There is a recency bias, I suspect, with some of these. Like when we get to Game of the Year, for example, like if you asked 6 months ago, it would have been Elden Ring. If you say it now, it's probably God of War. But like there's, it's only because God of War is newer. Like there is a recency bias, I feel like. Anyway, we'll get to that. Best action game, which to be clear does not have slash adventure, just straight up action. Or Sifu. Nope. Sifu's here.
Oh,
Sifu's
really?
here. All right. Yep. So best action game, Bayonetta 3, Call of Duty Modern Warfare 2,
Call of
Neon
Duty?
White, Sifu,
Neon
Teenage
White.
Mutant Ninja Turtles Shredder's Revenge. What a
There's no shooter
category.
category?
No.
Huh.
There aren't that many shooters this year, actually, if you think about it.
I mean,
It's a light year
those
for
two, Neon
first-person
White,
shooters.
Call of Duty, Splatoon.
Well, Neon White's like not a traditional shooter, but yeah, I get what you mean.
Yeah, see, that's
Yes,
another
and
one where
the-
that feels
the-
kind of weird to compare Sifu to Call of Duty.
Yes, and the description for this is for the best game in the action genre focused primarily on combat. So that's how they're making this all work.
That
You're
also
fighting
makes it
in all of
sound
them.
less like Call of Duty because it's like less emphasis on shooting,
Yeah.
not combat.
Although
Unless this one does have
single
combat,
player Call
and I
of
don't know
Duty.
because I didn't play it. Maybe there is a whole like punching and kicking and blocking mechanic.
You can jab with a knife. But no, single player Call of Duty is very actually kind of linear action game. And yes, you're shooting, but you're going like kind of room to room on down this like set path, and like at least older Call of Duties were like that.
No,
and
yeah,
there was
I think the
gunplay, but also stabbing
It's
and
no
setting
different than,
bombs and yeah.
Then Half-Life, I think that was also considered like an action adventure game.
Action game.
Even though it's
Yeah.
you're 100% shooting
Right.
and whacking things with a crowbar.
Yes, exactly.
I already forgot what was on this category.
Bayonetta, Call of Duty, Neon White, Sifu, TMNT, Shredder, Revenge.
I think I'm gonna give it to Bayonetta just because
Same.
Platinum always goes over the top on their action, and I feel like it's always really hard to top just how crazy their action gets. If it's anything like
Yeah,
the
I
past
think
games.
if you want pure, unfiltered action at the
Like-
peak of what action can mean, Bayonetta's it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Kevin, how about you?
Yeah, Dwight.
Makes sense. Okay, here's one I think none of us can answer, so let's try it. Best virtual reality / augmented reality. After the
okay.
Fall, Among Us VR, Bone Lab, Moss Book 2, Red Matter 2. I'm gonna be honest, I only know 2 of those games.
I'm gonna give it to Moth 2 because
Is that based on the name or because you know it?
Because I think I've played a very little of Moth 1, and I love how charming the
Okay.
animations were. So I imagine if it's a sequel, it's only better.
I'm sure all the developers of all these games are so happy to know that we're not on the judging panel for picking these awards. I liked the first one, and it had a fun art style.
I mean, I
so
guess
this one must
in
be
theory,
good.
I mean, the times I've played Among Us, I've enjoyed like the heck out of it. So I figured, like, well, I guess it could only be even more intense in first person.
Yeah,
But I just really like the animation of Moss. Like, it's just so.
I'm
done.
gonna throw it to Among Us only because it's the only one I really know, which is a really bad way to do it. But Kevin, what about you?
Yeah, I'll give it to Among Us.
Okay. All right. Here's a new category this year, which is a really cool category, and I'm glad the industry is actually starting to rally around this stuff. Innovation in accessibility. What a cool category. So, As Dusk Falls, God of War Ragnarok, abstain, Angel, Return to Monkey Island, The Last of Us Part 1, and The Quarry.
Last of Us Part 1 and The Quarry. I don't know much about the accessibility options of any of the other games, but...
Last of Us Part 1 is very similar to God of War.
But if Last of Us
Part 1 is...
then...
Yeah, if it's anything like Last of Us Part 2's, I'll give it to Last of Us Part 1.
I believe it's the same, if not a little more. So.
Okay, I'll give it to Last of Us Part 1.
Yeah.
Last of Us Part 2 had amazing accessibility options.
Yeah, I remember you guys talking about it on
you could
non-Nintendo back in the day
it's
for like an hour.
Super cheap of everything. I'm pretty sure you could play the game blind.
Which is super cool that they're finally like. I feel like Microsoft really kicked this off with that Xbox accessibility controller, and then everyone else kind of started doing it too. But it's long overdue given how big gaming is for all this.
Part 1.
Yeah. Okay, I'm gonna go with that as well based on what you guys said about Part 2. I kind of want to get to God of War because I heard that has really good accessibility, but I know Last of Us kind of led the charge on that, so it should get the praise. All right, best community support. Last year, whenever Last of Us 2 came out, I'm sure it did. It did. I don't even think this award existed, but it definitely got attention. I distinctly remember all the articles and stuff about it. Best community support. So to define this, recognizing a game for what?
Oh wait, no. I'm thinking of content creator. Never mind.
Oh, did you want to do content creator?
No, because I don't know any of them except for the dude with the Mob Psycho.
Yeah, who retired from Twitter and is now gang is due. I will give it to Nibble as well. Anyway, Nibillion, I think is his actual name. Sorry, I lost my place. Best community support. So this is recognizing a game for outstanding community support, transparency and responsiveness, inclusive of social media activity, and game updates and patches. Well, I bet you one won't be winning in. That's Pokemon Scarlet and Violet. Am I right? No. Okay. Here are the actual categories. Apex Legends. In like the tiniest way. Apex Legends, Destiny 2, Final Fantasy 14, Fortnite, No Man's Sky.
It's just all based on speculation because I have no idea how the community is handled. But I'm gonna guess No Man's Sky again, or I
don't recall if they've won it before. Fortnite's is the one that wins it a lot.
No Man's Sky did win it last time.
To be fair, they really turned themselves around. Like when that game came out, it's such a
it's all but gone.
So it's such a great rebound story. Yeah, and the fact that they pushed through all that negativity early on and actually made their vision happen, and they're now expanding on, even getting it on Switch. Props to them.
Yeah.
Kevin, where you say?
I don't know, between No Man's Sky and Final Fantasy, probably.
Okay. I think I'm going to lean towards. I think realistically, I'm going to go with No Man's Sky. Actually, yeah. I think Apex might actually have a shot. But because it has some momentum right now. It just won for Apple's iPhone Game of the Year. It just won best mobile game on iPhone, so it has a little extra momentum. It hasn't had in a few years, so I wonder if that's gonna.
Well, this is Apex Legends. This is Apex Legends mobile.
Isn't it
they're different
community
games.
Though?
They're different games.
Right, but isn't it one? Okay, fair. Well, let's talk about the other one then. Best mobile game: Apex Legends Mobile, Diablo Immortal, Genshin Impact, Marvel Snap, and Tower of Fantasy. I think I know what's going to win this.
Oh yeah, Marvel Snap.
Yep.
Yeah. Even I'm going to pick that. I do think, like I said, Apex Legends Mobile does have momentum right now, but I think Marvel Snap has kind of swooped in out of nowhere, so it's going to end up taking it probably. Best Indie, which to be clear is not the same as Indie Debut, but some of them overlap. But these could be indies that are already established, or they could be new. So here are the best indies: Cult of the Lamb, Neon White, Sifu, Stray, Tunic.
Yeah, Sifu's probably a bit more than I expected. I'll give it to Cult of the
Sifu's
Lamb
on here a lot.
I love its 2D art style.
I think I kind of want to go for Stray just because I really like the idea of it and it looks really pretty. But I haven't played any of these. But then again, Kevin, you were talking up Neon White a lot. I'll say Stray still. Best ongoing game: Apex Legends, Destiny 2, Final Fantasy 14, Fortnite, Genshin Impact. Fortnite kills this category every year, I feel like.
I think I'll go with Final Fantasy 14, just because I played it at one point. And people still seem to really like the new expansion.
Not that it's good, just that you played it.
I mean, it was fun, and
No,
there
I
was a
know.
lot of positive buzz from people that I knew that were playing when the expansion came out. They kind of burnt it really quickly though, so I don't know. I'll still go with it.
Okay.
Apex.
I think I might do. I think I'm gonna do Final Fantasy. I know it has a lot of momentum right now, so that might work in its favor. Okay, this next one's Game for Impact. I don't think we know any of these games, so I'll read it, but if we want to skip it, I totally get it. So there's A Memoir Blue, As Dusk Falls, Citizen Sleeper, Endling, Extinction is Forever. Oh, I know that one. That's on Switch. Hindsight, I Was a Teenage Exocolonist.
I don't know any of these.
Yeah, so Endling was the one where you have to take care of a baby fox, and it could die if you don't take care of it. It was in Indie World. I don't know the rest. So we'll move on unless, Angel, you have one?
I already forgot the nominees.
All right, moving on. Do you guys want to do best performance for voice acting? Or
No,
no?
Yeah, I think
Okay.
we're skipping.
No offense, voice actors. It's not that we don't value your
we
art.
just haven't
it's
put
we
your
don't know
names.
you. Yeah. Best audio design. Should we do that one? Start like skip ahead. Yeah, we'll do that one. Call of Duty, Elden Ring, God of War, Gran Turismo, Horizon. Wow, that's like the PlayStation category.
I'm gonna
basically.
give it to Gran Turismo because
Yeah,
I
Gran
imagine
Turismo.
they've already mastered like the vroom when the cast.
Cuts the cars go vroom vroom. Yeah, yeah. I really hope like when they announce Gran Turismo, just like for the vroom vrooms, it's Gran Turismo 7. Yeah, and all the skirt. Yeah.
You guys
okay.
got that down so hard.
Yeah. Yeah, they know what they're doing. They're pros. It might be coming to PC, by the way. Just a little rumblings of that. All right, best score in music. The options are A Plague Tale Requiem, Elden Ring, God of War Ragnarok, Metal Hellsinger, Xenoblade Chronicles 3.
I'm gonna go with Metal Hellsinger because it sounds like it would have.
That's
an
the metal
amazing
shooter,
song.
right?
Oh, is it? I imagine it would have a great
I
soundtrack.
think the dude who did Doom Eternal went and did a game that's even more metal. Yeah. So that one's definitely unique. I think it should get some accolades for standing out.
Well, got a
and being
nominee,
different.
but yeah, I would.
Yeah.
I'll give it a nod. Sure.
Okay.
Not on this list is Sonic Frontiers for the music in World 1-2, which is a banger.
I actually did, when you tweeted that, I did listen to it. It was actually, I was like, wow, if the whole game was this quality.
Yeah, I was gonna say, I was watching my brother play the other day, and he was fighting like some Bayonetta-looking boss, or like just something crazy in the sky, and he was supersonic, and like the music was like playing with like vocals, and it just felt like really awesome. It just looked really, really great. And then I just saw him like also do some other missions around. Damn, that game looks really, really fun. He seems to be really enjoying it too. But yeah, that music, it definitely.
It's debating picking it up myself.
Yeah,
it's cheap right now. You get it for like $30.
That $30 on what?
What?
$30 on what?
All the platforms. They were selling it like
Facebook.
the physical copies.
I don't think so.
Yeah.
It's literally. I'm literally looking at it. It's $60.
It was a Cyber. I think it was a Cyber Monday thing. But Amazon had it for $30 over the weekend of Thanksgiving. It was $40
copies.
at some other places. Yeah, physical copy. That's the thing.
No.
Well, this dweeb over here still gets physical copies. So
I just gotta say, I am very privileged that I don't have to deal with physical copies.
I
do understand why they're needed.
I have regretted going full physical.
Push up his glasses and go like, enjoy your long-term rental.
Well, actually, you're just getting a rights to a game, not owning it. No, but I regret not going digital to a degree. But I'm too far gone. Anyway, best art direction, guys. Elden Ring, God of War Ragnarok, Horizon Forbidden West, Scorn, Stray.
I'm gonna go with Scorn on this one because just based on the direction they're going with, like they really picked a very creepy monster direction that just looks very uniform and really cool and very different. It feels like some art that I've seen on the internet that's like disturbing monsters, but
yeah, it's like H.R. Giger, like the guy that made
that's probably the art that I saw. Or that, I'm sure he's like a big guy in that. But yeah, I'm gonna go with.
Well,
Scorn.
he was a big guy.
Oh,
he's the guy that designed the Xenomorph.
Oh, yeah.
That's like his style. I think it's
no
just.
No wonder. Dang, it also had like an alien vibe. Just didn't put it together. Yeah.
H.R. Geiger. There we go. That's the name.
Like a Geiger counter. Is that where it came from?
No,
I don't know.
Different Geiger, but both have contributed greatly to the world. Clearly, so. I think I'm going to say Stray because I just love the cyberpunk and the cat. What about you, Ken?
I'm kind of torn between Stray and Scorn, to be quite honest.
They're definitely
I'd be
the most
fine
interesting.
with either two.
I'm guess no offense, Angel, because I know God of War looks great and runs great, but like Elden Ring, God of War, and Horizon kind of blend in how they look a little. They have unique aspects, but if you look at the three of them and then you look at like Scorn and Stray, like two stand out a lot more, you know?
Sure. I see what you're getting at.
Yeah, like if you squint. All right, so those are that. Best Narrative, A Plague Tale Requiem, Elden Ring, God of War Ragnarok, Horizon Forbidden West, Immortality. I don't know what Immortality is, I'm going to be honest.
I would say Immortality. That game got a lot of good buzz.
How do I not know what this is? I like to pride myself on being on top of things. It's in multiple categories. Anyway, sorry, Angel, what are you picking?
The first one?
Plague Tale?
Yeah, I'll give it to Plague Tale.
Okay. I'm going to give it to God of War because I heard... Well, one, I know the story from the first one's good. And two, there's like a weird comic relief character now, which I never expected. And that was kind of a pleasant surprise. The weird little creature guy. Forgot what he's called. But I was like, oh, look at that. I'm really making these award decisions with some sound logic, aren't I? Okay, thank you. Best game direction. We're getting home stretch. 2 more to go. Best game direction. Elden Ring, God of War Ragnarok, Horizon Forbidden West, Immortality, Stray. That's a tough one.
I'm going to go with Stray because they picked a direction and they just went.
Did it? Yeah, that's it has an outstanding creative vision and innovation. That is true. Kevin?
I'll either go Immortality or Elden Ring.
I think I'm going to go Elden Ring just because there's a lot of moving parts they had to account for, and to have that all fall into such a smooth direction like that, like it required a lot. Like there's a lot of like planning, and you know what I mean, versus something like Stray, which is a little more, definitely unique in direction, is a little more straightforward. If that makes sense. All right, the biggie. Here we go. Final category, gents. Game of the Year. A Plague Tale Requiem. Elden Ring. God of War Ragnarok. Horizon Forbidden West. I'm trying to say as like an announcer. Stray. Xenoblade Chronicles 3.
I think I'll go with A Plague Tale because when I see the poster, it just looks like Oscar bait. But it seems to be doing like a good job of it because it has the sympathetic like foster kid story. But I don't know, it just looks like it's deserving of it. It would be a nice what's it called? What's that called when an underdog beats like
upset?
An upset.
Upset?
Yeah. It would seem like it'd be a nice upset.
I feel like Xenoblade would be the biggest upset. Just compared to
that would
the
be,
other
but that's
for
not
the
happening.
larger gaming community.
Like,
yeah, I know. Yeah, how great is it though that Xenoblade has reached the point? It went from a game Nintendo didn't want to bring to the U.S. to not just being successful with multi-millions of copies sold, but also like Game of the Year in the Game Awards. Like,
yeah, that's pretty awesome.
Can't knock it for they remember like Operation Rainfall or whatever to get Xenoblade and like 2 other games, Pandora's Tower and The Last Story, all to the Wii, and it was like a little fan campaign. Now here we are. Pretty impressive. Mm-hmm. Kevin, what would you pick for Game of the Year?
I mean, I'd probably just go with Elden Ring. But
I think this... Or, sorry, you're going to say something else?
Yeah. No, I probably just Elden Ring. I really love the game.
I think this is what I was saying before about like the recency bias. I feel like Elden Ring, if you asked a few months ago, would be a shoo-in. I feel like there may be competition from God of War, and I feel like God of War has the edge of being fresher in people's minds. Because Elden Ring was almost a year ago. I think Elden Ring was the bigger, like, whoa, sort of like this is huge type of thing. But yeah, I don't know.
Don't forget the
one
long
of those
legs
two.
Elden Ring had, because it felt like it was in the conscious for like a couple months, if not more.
That's true. That's a good point. That's a good point. God of War is very recent by comparison and has shorter legs because it's so recent. Yeah, so Elden Ring did have like cultural impact. That's very true. Yeah, maybe I'll say Elden Ring actually. Yeah, I'll go with Elden Ring actually. That's a fair point. Now, one more prediction that isn't on the award list. what will Nintendo do at the Game Awards? Any guesses? At all?
Nothing.
Of anything?
That is my
Nothing.
prediction. They're gonna do nothing.
Not even a commercial for like Switch Online subscriptions?
Yeah, they'll have a regular, just a regular generic commercial. It's like a sizzle reel of like, now available on Switch kind of deal.
And coming
Zelda
soon,
trailer,
Zelda.
I think. Probably.
You think a Zelda trailer?
Zelda trailer, yeah.
Yeah, I initially I had thought something related to the Mario movie would make a ton of sense here because you have the celebrity element of the Game Awards. Have a big name introduce the trailer, and then like with Sonic in the past, because like Sonic, yeah, that's the thing. But like Sonic in the past, it's a really great venue to be like to the core gamer audience. Like, look, we're making with love the project based on the thing you love. Like that's why Sonic was there, so that makes sense. But like you just said, we had that trailer already. I think the new trailer conveys extremely well that the Mario movie is being made with love. I know both of you are kind of on me at Blackout, so I'm not saying any details, but I love that trailer, and I don't think there's any doubt in anyone's mind that this isn't being made with passion for the original property. So that immediately removes, besides it just coming out, there's no need. They never need to put it at the Game Awards because it speaks for itself. So I think the other option is, if not Zelda, it's interesting because typically when Nintendo has news to share at the Game Awards, it's something very gamer-centric, right? Like, it's mainstream, but it's mainstream to, like, the game community. So you have, like, Bayonetta, Metroid Prime 4, Marvel Ultimate Alliance, Joker of all characters, but in Smash Bros., the biggest fighting game. Like, there's this through line with this stuff. And if you look at their 2023 lineup, that's the one type of game that's not there right now. Like, we've got a Kirby remake, we've got Fire Emblem, we've got Pikmin 4, of course, Zelda. But none of those outside of Zelda scream like, hey, PlayStation and Xbox gamers, like, look at this cool thing we've got. None of them have the vibe of, like, Bayonetta or Metroid or Marvel or Smash. So it could be Zelda, or maybe I feel like it would behoove them to maybe lean in on that missing part of their lineup if there is a game in the lineup that they haven't announced yet. Like, I don't want to lean into the rumors of past years of Metroid Prime. I know one year people thought 4 would show up, another year a remake of 1 would show up, but honestly, like, something like that, I think, would be fitting. Whether they have it or not is another question. Like, I don't think we're going to see Metroid Prime 4 because that's probably not hitting until the Switch's successor at this point. But, like, if they had a new, I don't know, F-Zero in the style of GX, that could work. Or like maybe Star Fox Pentra if they really, like, guzzy it up and make it look super slick and stylish. But that's kind of like the realm of Nintendo IPs I think would make the most sense to show and would be cool to see. Or even if it's a big publishing deal with an outside IP, like kind of how they did with Ultimate Alliance or Bayonetta, like if they did, I don't know, like a Metal Gear remake, like the quadruple snakes or something instead of the twin snakes, like, or maybe if they get Eternal Darkness going again, like that sort of like head turning, like that's on Switch to this audience would make sense to me. And they are missing that sort of angle in their lineup for next year. So I have no idea if that's what's going to happen. It'd be cool. Even more Zelda would just be cool. Although for some reason, I don't know. I don't see Zelda being there, but we'll see in like 4 days. It's this Thursday. But that's my guess is if they do anything, it's going to be kind of a weird head turn. Like what? Like even when they did Octopath Traveler or Triangle Strategy or whichever one they did, and it was kind of like, whoa, like this old school, like RPG that's often like style of RPG that's often associated with like early PlayStation days is on Switch. Like that, yeah, that I could see them doing something like that, like some sort of land grab of traditionally other platforms type of game. But we'll see. I think that's it for the predictions. We'll, I guess, reconvene on our next episode, talk about the show itself and the winners and Angel, your and my experience in person there. Is there anything else?
TDs.
What?
Third year of our
quarantine. I don't think we're gonna. I think that's 2 episodes away. I don't think we're quite there yet.
Is it?
Oh wait, you might be right. Well, yes, we do have our own year-end awards to do at some point in the coming weeks. That is true. Was there anything? Sorry, I feel like I'm taking over as host. Angel, back to you, host man.
Well, I think that's actually all we had. It actually ended up being quite a packed episode for only 2 topics.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I guess what do we do usually at this point? We do housekeeping, so I guess
yes. Back to me again.
You can listen to us on Stitcher, Spotify, Yuzu. Banger,
sorry, what was that third one? Yulu and Banger. Are we on porn sites? What is Banger?
Isn't that everything that you ramble at the end?
Do you want me to do it? Do you want me to ramble?
Yeah, just go for it.
All right. Well, first of all, it's important to note that we are back on our usual release cadence. You may have noticed we had a 3-week gap and then before that was like a 2-month gap. But I think as far as we're aware, we're back to our 2 weeks. Hopefully, we'll try and stick to that as best we can. But obviously, we'll see. But when we show up, you will find us on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Amazon Music, Stitcher, TuneIn, iHeartRadio, and our YouTube channel also has audio versions of every show at randomnintendo.com. What's interesting is actually YouTube just rolled out usernames. So I think we're just at Random Nintendo if you try us that way. So you can do youtube.com/@randomnintendo or /randomnintendo.com, and I think they both work. So experiment and let us know. Leave us a comment and let us know if you can find us. Besides that, yeah, I think that's all the housekeeping. We're not on Banger, whatever Banger is. But maybe we should be. On Twitter, we are Random Nintendo. Individually, that must be it, yes. Yeah, that works. Good save. Good PG save. But yes, we're on Twitter individually for as long as Twitter's still alive. I am JSR7. Angel is Wero, WEIRO_O. Kevin is KV Ngomi. Back to you, Angel. That's the housekeeping.
Yeah, so that was episode 9. Kevin, got any final words for us?
Yeah, man, I was really hoping that I would get it. Sex Gym 3D is on sale right now on Steam.
Sex Gym? Is that what you just said?